podcast.
Extreme Gaming Podcast, episode 247.
I'm Irish, or also known as Matt, Irish Guardian on Twitch. Hello.
And look, Trev's here. Yay.
Hello, you hear me okay, yeah?
Yeah.
Hello, it's Trev here.
Let's get right to it, and we'll take care of the paperwork, as we always say. Please join up at our Discord. You can get there by going to discord.gg, as in good, discord.gg/Extreme Gaming Podcast. That's discord.gg/Extreme Gaming Podcast. And if you don't remember that, just do a Google, and you're bound to catch us on the Discord. Any gaming questions, PC tech questions, you can drop it in our general chat on the Discord, or you can jump in the chat live as well and ask questions, and we will get around to answering them for you. Also, just remember that we do this obviously every Thursday. We rarely miss a Thursday. We also do a gaming stream as many times as we can on Wednesdays around 7 p.m. GMT, BST, AYZ, QR4, whatever.
You forgot the ABC.
Yeah, the ABC. And NBC and CBS and UK. But anyway, also we're all over the socials. Right now we're streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on Facebook, TikTok, Extreme X, Twitter. I still can't get over that. X used to be Twitter. So you can catch us on all those socials if you want and talk with us. If you join the Discord, of course, we can all talk to you, and you can also take a look at the different things in gaming and computer tech, and we also talk about channels for entertainment as well as Star Trek and whatever else we come up with. So, boys, you guys been good since last week?
Pretty much, yeah. Good, busy, loving it.
No
Everybody
complaints.
good?
Yeah.
So I guess we'll kind of just get right into it. I suppose everybody, I know all of us have been hearing this, but if you haven't, Ubisoft has been having real troubles lately. We talked about it last week. I think we even talked about it a little bit the week before. And it just seems they can't catch a break. I almost kind of feel sorry for them, but not exactly, because they did most of it to themselves. But many people have complained about Ubisoft becoming a cut and paste kind of shop over time, and I do agree with some of that. And apparently the stockholders, like we had told you last week, were looking to oust the major stockholders and owners of the company. That's in process. I don't know if that's ever going to happen or not. So they've been kind of running, basically trying to get everything straight as best they can, and I don't know if it's working. And the Assassin's Creed Shadows was supposed to be in November, and now they delayed it all the way out to, I believe, February of 2025. So it's delayed for a good 4 or 5 months. I'm disappointed because I want to play the game. But on the other side of the coin, the things I've been reading is that they were so upset with how Star Wars Outlaws turned out. And we've talked about it here and told you how bad we think it is, or what we were expecting and didn't get, as well. They've had very tepid sales on it, so they've, the stockholders again are not too happy. So they decided that they felt, because of all this, that they wanted to delay it so they can spruce it up a little bit and try to make it look as best they can, work on any bugs, and they can't afford another game coming out where there's going to be problems. So they've really got to be right the first time. So I guess in a way that sounds okay if it truly does. It's a two-edged sword, those guys, because they're sitting there delaying it because they want to make sure it's right. But now the pressure's on, because if it's not right when it comes out, they're going to catch even more crap than they did, previous. So, and for me, it's like I'm more critical, I guess, because I love Assassin's Creed. So if it's screwed up, I'm going to definitely be angry. I was not happy with Outlaws. I was really expecting to have a great time with Outlaws, and it's kind of so. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys say?
Pretty much that, yeah. I cancelled my subscription for now until they come out with that. They actually sent me a email saying, "Don't cancel now. We got more coming out." And I was like, "No, you don't."
And then you just write back and say, "Free."
Yeah. Does it work?
I'll do it for free. No problem.
Yeah, free, baby.
That's like a lot of the other ones that always they go like, well, if you don't leave, we'll give you the next month for free or half price.
Absolutely, yeah. Maybe
You know?
Ubisoft should start doing that. They might actually keep some of their customers.
I don't blame you though,
yeah.
because I used to do the same thing. I would pause my my subscription, and it would of course run out whenever, and then I would just wait. I did the yearly, so I'm not worried about it. But when I used to not have the annual, I did that all the time. I mean, why play something that's not there or is not very good?
Yeah, my choices was Monopoly or Uno at the end of it. So I was like, nah, I don't think so.
Well, where do I start, boys, about about Ubisoft? The rinse and repeat thing is accurate, but the thing is, they got away with that before because the rinse and repeat was done well for rinse and repeat method, and there's people that love that. Like Gray is happy with that because he knows what type of game he likes, and he's happy to buy or subscribe to the service if another one comes out. But when some of these games do poorly, and or they are ad hoc games like Outlaws do poorly, then that's going to have a nosedive. That tied in with the rinse and repeat together, people just get fed up and go, right, I've had enough. And Gray sent a really interesting video. Now, you got to watch some of the videos Gray sends, because sometimes they send you to sleep, but then he'll send you the odd gem. He'll send you an odd gem like this one about Ubisoft, and you go, right, that. Huh. And it literally, the boy hit the nail on the head. He pretty much said a lot of the things I've been saying for the last couple of months, that they have been doing rinse and repeat, doing the safe option, and it's caught up with them. And then they try to bring out something different like Outlaws, and they make an absolute arse of it. They'll need to go back to the drawing board, and more people are going to lose their jobs. Unfortunately, people. I don't like to say that, but you know it will happen, especially with their share price at least halved, if not more than halved. So I don't know. I think sorry if I'm stealing anyone's thunder in this news article. They are pulling out of the game show in Tokyo, the big one in Tokyo that they have.
Right.
Plus I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, well, because it's too much. They can't take the flak at the moment, you know? Mm-hmm. Plus, they want to polish Assassin's Creed, don't they? Just to make sure when it comes out, it is 100% fine. Are Assassin's Creed games usually fine for the most part when they come out, Greg?
Well, I mean, to be honest, nothing has been as good as Origins when it first came out years ago. The next one that came out was really good. Not quite as good as Oranges, but I still enjoyed it. Valhalla it's kind of weird. Valhalla had a lot of good to it, but man, was it bloated. They had so many DLCs to where to complete the game with the DLCs would take over 100 hours. And that's if you weren't like me that likes to go running around discovering junk, then it would take you probably a lot longer. And so people were saying like, well, I can't, they said, I believe that the statistic was that only 30% of the people ever completed Valhalla to the end. That's it.
Well,
so
that's
I
a
haven't
good point.
completed it, so yeah.
The game was too long, and when I started playing it, right, and I know some people, including Gray, like that kind of game in general, but it was like Far Cry and other games like that they've done in the past where it's too long. Like, actually, we're getting to the stage now where games are actually too long. We used to complain back in the day that they were too short. And then they started giving us longer games. And now you got, like, The Last of Us Part 2 was actually a little bit too long. It was exhausting, actually. So you need to hit that mark of just right. Like, Astrobot, the new Astrobot, that game that came out for PlayStation recently, it's about 15 or so hours. It's not marked at the £70, $80 mark. It's actually like 50 or 60 or something, and it's about 15, and it's contender for Game of the Year, and I will buy that at some point. I can't wait to actually get that. That's a game you kind of want. I think Valhalla, in fact, I know Valhalla will be way longer than that, and it'll be rinse and repeat, so that bores people. And then, I mean, if you're a diehard like Gray with the Assassin's Creed games, you're more likely to buy it, but then they bring out all these DLCs on top of it, and then you think, man, they're trying to milk this. Like, you can't rely just on that.
There's no doubt. Because when I played the game, I had fun for the hours that I played it. And then when they just kept on adding the DLC, I'm going like, yeah, but I'm done. I mean, and I didn't even play the last DLC. I didn't even touch it. I mean, that and for me, that's pretty bad. And I'm sitting there, I'm going like, why? Why do you need another one for? Why does it need to be that long? I think they realize that they've got to get back to formula. Some people blame, like we were talking about last time, that they went public and that they were much better when they were private. Maybe. I mean, I don't know for sure. All I know is that I think they grew complacent because they had a lot of hits. They had hits after hits after hits, and it doesn't matter if you want to make a sequel to your games, but you better be good. The only thing that again, I don't really feel bad per se. I feel bad for the people maybe that lose their jobs, but the technology advancements in Shadows, from what I've read, is going to be really good, and if it all works according to what I'm reading. So it looks like Ubisoft really did do some things with the new one. But the problem is they've had such bad luck. Remember when, what do you call it, Skull and Bones came out? It took, 10 years? And it was too late because they already had pirate games out, right? And so it was like, nobody even noticed it. So now they've been waiting years to have an Assassin's Creed feudal Japan thing. And what ends up happening? You had Ghost of Tsushima come out, and now you got the new one that's going to be coming out. Ghosts of Yotai, which is going to be like the Yotai, whatever, that's the sequel or whatever. So now all the feudal Japan games are coming out, and by the time Shadows comes out, they're going to be behind the 8 ball again.
And Greg, teach the people what feudal means again. You had to teach me what it meant.
That means Japan in the 1600s, either early 1600s or late 1600s.
That's not
whatever.
To be confused with futile, as in resistance is futile.
Yes.
Because they sound almost identical, those words.
Feudal, feudal. Whereas
I just say old or ancient or old timey wimey or something.
Ancient, but Jesus, you would have
back then.
That is ancient though, isn't it? If you say in the 1600s or 1700s, that's
Assassin's Creed dinosaur age. Yeah, there you go. I want to see that.
No, ancient's. I think ancient's more than about 100 or so, 100, 200 years maybe.
Well, yeah,
or you.
Well, wait a minute. From where you come from over in the UK, your ancient goes back thousands of years. Our ancient's only 200 years old.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
But anyway.
So, what do you think? What do you think, Ray, they're going to do? What's Ubisoft's master plan then? Do you think they steady the ship? Do you think? I think they're getting someone in to restructure and reevaluate the company, aren't they? Let some people go and then stick to what they know and try to be safe for a while before moving forward, maybe?
I think what they're doing is what a lot of typical companies will do, whether you're gaming or not. Disney went through it, and they're just coming out of it. And that is the fact that when you can't make your stockholders happy, you need to sit down and reevaluate because you're going to lose your job. So the CEO is going to be out on the street, and and because they can be bought out and it can be a hostile takeover. And if they're not careful to get things back on the trail again, that's what will happen. So I think now what's happening is the CEO and the creators of the Ubisoft are getting their butts in gear, so to speak, and they can't afford another problem. Now they're at the point where they absolutely can't afford another problem. And I think that's, again, why they paused it. But that increases the pressure 100-fold because I'm telling you right now, if Assassin's Creed ain't a hot shit game and is good, then you are going to see some kind of takeover or ouster or CEOs flying wherever. I mean, look at it. When you're a stockholder and you're not a private company, when your stock sinks all the way down, I think they lost 70% of market share. I mean, that's not good, man. When they get excited and mad when you lose 5%, 10%, 15%. Man, to lose that much, that's hard, man.
They're a very big company, actually. You sometimes forget how big they are and the number of studios they've got, and for the size of company and the number of studios they've got spread over a few different countries, sure. I'm really surprised they don't have a wider portfolio than they already do at the moment. I'm not saying part of the games they do at the moment, like Assassin's Creed and whatnot. The reason they get them out so quickly is because I think they just put a lot of resources from most of their studios into just churning them out. But as the guy in that video you sent to me said, that only get you so far, then people will get fed up, so they'll need to. But the problem is, then you try to do something like Outlaws, which was a bit different, but you do a half-hour version of it, and then
not even a half-hour version,
and it's a massive franchise. It's not as big as Star Wars, Star Trek, of course. We know it's numero uno, but it's massive. It's sure. Big out there and dear to people's hearts. You cannot mess something like that up. Go for something else if you're, not sure. So
yeah. What are we saying, Matt? You want to?
They should have just given it back to DICE.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry,
Yeah?
Matt. Crank your mic up because I don't hear you that
sorry.
well.
Ooh.
Or sit closer to it.
Hello?
Yeah, or bring it closer to you because you're
Pretty close
low.
already.
Okay, now talk.
How's that?
Yeah, but talk a little
Is that
louder
better?
since you're away from the mic. Go ahead.
Hi!
I'm not noticing any difference, but okay.
Are you not?
No.
Have you got it back to front again? Once upon a time, Matt had it upside down and back to front.
Yeah, is
It
your
was
pattern right?
upside
Is the
down.
pattern right?
And also remember the little knob thing. You can turn that to boost it up a little bit, mate. If
Leave
you're
my
too
knob
low.
alone.
I was
There
trying
you
not to
go.
go there.
I'm reading it now. Hold on. Oh,
There you go.
Go ahead, keep
Reboost.
talking.
is that better?
Yeah, not
Smidge.
Can
much.
you hear me? Not much.
No, we're gonna have to mess with it later on, I guess.
Lemon thing.
Okay, wait a minute. What did you just do? Now it's a little louder. Say something.
Is it better now?
A little,
bit.
not much. Come close to your mic. Just curious. Come close.
Hello.
It's not even making a difference. There's something that's interfering. That's okay. We'll mess with it later.
That's what happens when you
I
play
don't
with
hear
your
anything now.
knob. I think he's doing it on purpose.
Are you faking as usual?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good at that.
We'll adjust it later. I think you're okay as
Okay.
far as recordings. I can adjust.
Yeah,
your-
we'll get it later.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Well, you guys that are listening to audio will never know this because I'll take it right out. But live, you will. Anyway, sorry about that. Like I said, we had some difficulties technically and still are here and there. Anyway, to move on, I guess, a little bit off of this because it's never going to fix itself until Assassin's Creed comes out in next year, which unfortunately we have to wait. I found some of the interesting two different polls that were on the internet that I wanted to throw out for people to look to have an opinion on. I want your guys' opinion on it. They polled about over 161,000 people that voted on this first poll, and it said, "Are you excited for GTA 6?" So the answers are yes, it's going to be amazing. It looks good, but I'm waiting to see more. No, I've been tricked by trailers before. No, Rockstar
Definitely.
games aren't for me, and hard to get excited about a game from one trailer. So yes, it's going to be amazing was 45%, which I thought was pretty low for GTA 6. Anyway, 19% says it looks good, but I'm waiting to see more. No, I've been tricked by trailers before, 7%. And then I was a little surprised, even though it's lower, it says no, Rockstar games aren't for me, 14%. And hard to get excited about a game from one trailer, a 13%. I thought overall that's not really that great.
I'm
people
not excited about Rockstar games usually anyway. I'm not really a fan of Red Dead Redemption. That kind of genre is not my thing. They take forever to bring a game out. GTA is massive. GTA, of course it is, but I haven't even finished GTA 5. So, and I know when it comes out on console, because it will come out on consoles first, as we know.
Yeah.
Even with the PlayStation, the PS5 Pro, it will still be 30 FPS because, as we touched upon before, the PS5 Pro, its CPU hasn't really been changed. It's more just the GPU, so you need the CPU overhead to increase those frames. So it'll probably still be 30 FPS. You might be lucky and get 60 with a dial back visual setting, but unless I don't want to play games at 30 FPS, man. It's bad enough having to play Zelda at 30, but a GTA 30 in 2025 when it comes out, come on, guys. I'm in the middle.
My future wheelchair be faster than that.
Your future with
So they.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I thought, yes, it's going to be amazing. It'll be more like, I don't know, 55,
80,
60.
Yeah.
And then I figured it looks good, but I'm waiting to see more would pick up the rest of it. And then I thought the other three would be very, very low. But the other three combined is almost, 27? It sounds like 34% from the middle to the bottom of what they think. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot for everybody that's screaming, GTA 6, oh my God. So I don't know. We'll see. Interesting.
Yeah.
Then there was one other poll I thought was also pretty interesting. And this question's come out before, but they decided to ask, what resolution do you play PC games in? What resolution? So the choices were 1080p, 1440p, 4K, and other. I don't know what other would be. 8K? I don't know.
Yeah, it would be.
I guess, right? So this is the results, which is probably about what we all thought, I guess. But 1080p, believe it or not, still rules the roost, as they say. It's 41% play PC games at 1080p. 1440p, which is what I play at, is 30%. 4K is 17%. That's what I think Trev's does. And then other is 9%. So, but I think that pretty much falls in line with what we thought. I mean, 4K has grown some. But maybe I was a little surprised that 1080p was still on top because I thought people were more towards the 1440p these days at minimum. I don't know. What do you guys think?
You can't go wrong with 1080, really, can you?
Yeah, well, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't tax your GPU that much.
Exactly, yeah. So you got that power for everything else.
That's what Steam has as the most popular. And it has had it at 1080p for a while. Mm-hmm. And the second most popular, again, in Steam was always 1440p. 4K. See, I'm a visual whore, right?
Yeah.
What can I say? I like the shinies. But the problem is I like the shinies and decent FPS at the same time. Hence why I'm predominantly a PC gamer and why I've predominantly got a mostly powerful rig. Because, I mean, that's why my GPU is better than my CPU. Because my CPU is good enough to run high frames. But if I had a more modern CPU, I could get even higher. But it's sufficient enough. But the GPU means I can game at higher resolutions. And listen, it's the old adage, once you go 4K, you don't go back. You know, it generally is. Like the first time I seen 4K, when I was playing a little bit of Rust, I was like, oh, it's so sharp. Look at those textures. Then I went down to 1080, and I was like Gray when he's been forced to watch and or play an 8-bit game. I was throwing up inside my mouth. It all depends on the screen as well.
Oh, of course.
Really important, guys, yeah? So I have a 4K screen, of course, but it's a IPS panel, which is the norm for these kind of situations. 27-inch, 144 hertz. It does the job. But I think the next monitor I'll get will be 4K, and it'll be probably a little bit bigger, maybe 32-inch, and it'll probably be, I'd maybe consider an OLED or a QLED or something. Cost more, but then I'll get creme de la creme of gaming because I'll have those inky blacks and the bright HDR colors and stuff. So, yeah.
I wonder if more of the advancements coming up are going to be with monitors as opposed to computers, because they're getting to the point, you know, like Moore's Law and all this stuff where you're not going to be able to bring chips too much further unless they go quantum. You know, that's another whole bag of worms.
Quantum chips, man. Get some salt and vinegar and then bad boys are sorted.
Definitely.
Great, and Matt, what do you take in your quantum chips? Are you just salt and vinegar, or do you like salt and vinegar and some sauce in there? Like, what was?
Oh, you got to have a bit of sauce, bit of spice.
The French fries over here? Yeah, I just like it with salt. That's it.
Ah, how boring.
Although over here, I don't know if it's over there too, but some people, this thing with taking your French fries or your chips, whatever, and dipping them in ice cream and then eating them.
Oh. No, that you can take it outside with a firing squad for that here.
I don't like that at all. I don't get it. But I'll tell you, it's gotten so prevalent over here that I actually saw a commercial for Wendy's, which is one of the fast food burger places. And Wendy's happens to make a really good shake. It's practically not a shake. It's actually more ice cream. And there was a picture. And in the commercial, this is a national television commercial. There's an actress, a girl, and she takes 2 French fries and just dips it into a chocolate frosty and glump.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like going, ew. Like,
I'm predominantly talking about chippy chips. So the big fatter ones, the fatter. No, they're not even fries.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You do, but the audience maybe doesn't in the States. We have fries as well, but they're exactly the same as your fries. We call them fries as well, but chips are chunkier. There's actually more potato in there, and they're softer. They've been cooked. And you go to a fish and chip shop, a chippy, you'll get that. I mean, literally, I was a few minutes late because I had to get a quick bite to eat. It was a haggis supper, and it was magnifique. They don't call me the haggis master for nothing.
By the way, over here, they call your thicker chips, they call over here steak fries. I don't know.
Steak fries,
that's what it is.
You often get them with steak, I guess. That makes sense. You wouldn't have fries with a steak. That'd be a bit...
Well, they've called them other
French,
things. Steak
maybe?
fries was the original name, but now they call them like a thick cut. Fries.
Well, they are the thick boys. They're thick boys. Or at least.
But then there's some people that like to go to McDonald's and get the really skinny skinny fries, you know.
Well, they're the OG fries, aren't they? That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind
resist
McDonald's.
those.
McDonald's fries are nice. I do. I'm a fan. See,
Yeah.
this is our famous tangents, people. This is
right.
the stuff you come here for, not the gaming news. No way.
No. Unless you're
gonna
gaming
sell
and
some
eating fries with an
fries.
ice cream shake.
What resolution do you guys game at again? Gray's 1440p, but what is
1440.
Matt? You're 1440p.
Large portion of fries, please. Yeah. I play on 4K.
Do you?
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were
I didn't know that.
1440. That's cool.
Yeah, 4K, man. Yeah.
What's the FPS of your monitor?
Yeah, let's not get into that.
It's 60, isn't it? It's 60.
90?
That's like
Okay.
bare minimum. That's like,
Yeah,
like
it's-
any lower than that, there's no point being on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
yeah.
Matt, how long have you been doing the 4K?
Probably about a year, maybe.
Oh, I remember he got his new
really?
monitor then. Yeah, that rings a bell.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were doing it for that long. That's cool.
Yeah, so I think probably a year before that, I had the AOC 4K IPS. And then I was like, wanting to buy another one exactly the same, but they don't sell them anymore, this type of model anyways. So then LG came up with the same kind of same one, same specs for their one. So I bought that one last
I
year.
forgot what
Yeah.
GPU you're running. What was it?
4070 overclock Ti Eagle. What's it?
Same
Okay.
as. Oh no,
That's
you're a
similar
TI,
to
aren't
mine.
you? What's
Yeah.
Gray's?
No, Mine's
you're a
4070 super, but it's overclocked. So,
Is a Super or the TI better? I can never remember.
well, so supposedly my super at overclock equals a TI.
You
I don't
can't
know.
get a TI anymore. By the way, Gray, it might just be me. Matt, is Gray blurry from your end?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, it was the Riverside
Okay.
were giving us some advice. See, these two have got gigabit internet, right? And they're decent PCs, so we know it's not them. There's some gremlins with the Riverside stuff that they told us to switch off.
Well,
but
you know what
I
I'm going
think-
to do? Let's see if this changes. I'm going to
Pause
my,
your upload or something.
Yeah,
man.
that's what I'm doing. Pausing my upload now.
But he's got asynchronous connection, which means he's got the same upload of gigabit
Yep.
as he does down. So it shouldn't be on Gray. It's
No,
ridiculous, man.
by the way, for anybody out there that wants to see like crystal clear, what I usually do is when we're done with this, since Riverside records us all separately and they don't work and it's away from the bandwidth so that we're doing live, we all look like super great and clear. So within 24, 36 hours or so after the audio goes out, I do upload to YouTube. So I would advise you go to YouTube. And if you really want to see how ugly we look in high fidelity,
Yeah.
We are so high definition that you may throw up in your mouth.
yes, you might just go. But otherwise, we look great. Anyway, but to go on my monitor, my story was when I bought this one. This is actually it's about 2 years old today. Anyway, I bought the Samsung Odyssey, the G7 32-inch, 240 hertz. When I was buying it, I was really, really debating whether to go with that at the 1440 or to go with the 4K. But at that time, I didn't have the 4070 Super and everything, and I was sitting there going, I don't know, man. 4K was interesting, but I'd have to drop back on my settings and stuff, and I really didn't want to do that. So I kind of figured I would rather play at 1440p, like on Ultra, than trying to get to 4K and not being able to go at least very high to Ultra. And the other thing about the 240 hertz is really nice because I didn't care if it was at least 144, I'd be good. But it happened to be 240, so I'm sitting there going like, okay, that's cool. And it's also a curved monitor. I didn't know if I was really going to like a curved monitor because I was looking at some of them and I was going like, wow, that looks kind of odd. But then after when I got it and I started getting used to it, I definitely wouldn't go back to flat. I mean, there's definitely. I read some articles about it, and they were saying that the curved monitor is actually better for your eyes because your eye is actually curved, right? So the surface of your eye better matches the curvature of the monitor. In fact, the curve that they put in the monitor is the same curve as your eye. So, yeah, so it does make a difference when you're looking back and forth like this. I was going, yeah, okay, I get it. The funny thing is they have these huge curved ultra wide or super ultra wide monitors. I saw one that was so large I couldn't believe it. It was like, I don't know, it had to be at least fill your entire desk from end to end, and it was curved. And I felt like when I was looking at it, I was in the planetarium or something, you know, like remember those things with the curved ceiling, and you look at the space and the stars, and I was going like, what? But I'm real happy with my 1440p. I don't have any issues with it. But like you were saying, Trev, even at 1440p, when I went to 1080 one time, just for the hell of it, I was going like, what happened?
Yeah,
everything was just like, man, what? You know, and I was like, it just didn't make it, man. So I get it. But you know what? You do what you can or what you can afford, and obviously, the majority seems to be more on 1080p still. But it's gotten so much cheaper for 1440p and even 4K in some instances. So you know, hey. But anyway, we're going to move along. We got some hardware tech news that Trev's going to get into, and we'll all make comments on. So take it away, Mr. Trev.
Comments on? Make it sound like you're going to pick on me.
Yes.
Be nice. Be nice.
We're ready for it.
By the way, I digress, but do I look any better since I paused it?
You do.
You do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I can count all your wrinkles now.
Oh, great, thanks.
I'm still counting. I got to start getting moved.
Actually, no, to be fair, see, for an old geezer, you don't actually have that many creases, actually. You're doing all right, man. You don't have many wrinkles. You're doing okay.
It must be my wonderful Italian complexion.
I said creases, man. I make it sound like I need to get an ironing board out. I meant wrinkles. That's what So, yeah, some of this is slightly older, but it'll be relevant in a moment. The PS5 Pro Special Edition was announced and then equally sold out really quickly today.
Did it?
They
Wow.
were celebrating an anniversary of the PlayStation 1, so they said there would be a limited... In fact, wait a minute. What I will probably do is...
Are these pre-orders?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, my friend. Yeah.
So despite the fact that it's an ungodly price, et cetera, they still sold out?
Oh yeah, they did. I don't know if I showed this last week or not. Did I? Can't remember if I did. The special edition. Yeah, so the special edition kind of looks like that. It looks like the PlayStation 1 is in the color scheme, but on a PS5 Pro. It's the only difference. They've got a little thing here for the anniversary model, and then they put like a special number in here. And what they do is they also include a second controller, which is their fancy premium controller, the Edge controller, some headphones with a case and stuff, and some bells and whistles. And what they do is, instead of £700, they charge you £960, or probably I think it's $1,000.
$960?
Yeah, but you're getting an Edge controller that's £210. You're getting headphones that are about $100 or something. So they're actually not ripping you off more than their initial ripping off of yourself, if that makes sense.
Oh, wait, wait, I'm getting confused now. If this is the PlayStation 30th anniversary, is it the P5 Pro?
Yep, that's still a PS5 Pro.
And its anniversary?
Yes.
Okay.
So only 12,300 models were made worldwide, which is a ridiculously small amount, and that was something to do with the date that probably the PlayStation 1 was announced or something like that. I went into the queue this morning to try and get that console, ideally, or if not, I like to call it the Peasant Edition PS5 Pro. And I went in half an hour early, so it was on sale 10 a.m. UK time on the PlayStation Direct store. I went in half an hour early to try and avoid the queues after the shenanigans of missing out on Oasis tickets because of shocking queues, and don't get me started in that. And there was a queue, so what they done is they put you, no matter how early you got there, they gave you a random place in the queue, which may sound unfair for the people that got there really, really early, but it helps with traffic management, and that queue means that they can actually put you in batches into the server, into the web page, so it's not overwhelmed, and they give you a random queue number. So I was told, I'll have about an hour to wait, and I went, there's no chance of getting an anniversary edition again, just none. People were saying it sold out within a couple of minutes. So I thought, okay, right, I knew I wasn't going to get that. Let's get the PS5 Pro Standard Edition, which I'm moving stuff at the same time, along with some important colleagues from one office to the other in work, right? I'm actually moving stuff. We're moving office, and I'm going along the street with IT gear under one arm, my phone in the other with the queue on it, making sure that I'm not losing my place in this queue. And then it comes up and it's like, buy. And my colleague's trying to get my attention. I'm like, I don't care if the contract's not signed. I have to buy a PlayStation. Hold. Right.
Yeah, hold on.
So important. So I managed to secure one, thankfully. I don't know if they're sold out now. I'd imagine they would be, but I was able to secure one for the standard price of only $700. I mean, it's still ridiculous, but I live in the bleeding edge of tech like that, so it was always going to happen. So that will be arriving, I think the launch date was November 7th. So what you see in that picture there, it's just the standard white version. Without a disc drive, you need to pay an extra, this is the bit I don't get, £700 in the UK for the PS5 Pro, $700 in the States. Now, I won't start the rant of you can get more dollars to the pound than you can pound to the dollar, so it should be cheaper. But then again, you guys, when you pay $700, you pay more than that in a lot of states because you have to pay your tax. Whereas the $700 for us, it's all included. So, okay, I will put up with that. But when I see the disc drive that you can buy for it, it's $80 in the States and £100 in the UK. Like,
really?
The guys at Sony need to go back to school and learn some math. Like, if you're listening, Sony execs, go back to school, take a little math course, come back, and then say, sorry, we made an arse of the system and come back.
By the way, I hope I'm not stealing any of your thunder, but I read something that I thought was hilarious. They were talking to, I forget who at Sony, PlayStation, whatever, and they were trying to figure out in the justification with the money and everything and the no disc drive. And the guy was saying that, like, well, he even admitted, the PlayStation representative, wherever he was, even admitted that most people that own PlayStation have physical games. He said this.
Yeah.
And then he goes and says, but we're in the 21st century, so you don't need the disc drive anymore. And immediately, the guy that wrote the article immediately said, wait a minute. So he just told us that most of them have physical games, but they eliminated the disc drive anyway and made you pay for it.
Well, Gray put an article on Discord today, which I read as well. See, I do read some of your articles, Gray. Just sometimes you send the most random stuff. But this one was interesting because it was involving the PS5 Pro stuff. And it was the Sony High-Hegians were not adding the disc drive in with the Pro by default because they want to give gamers more choice to be even more broke. Broke. I think what they're trying to say is if we put a disc drive in, we'd need to charge you another $80 to $100 or pounds, And how about you just have a model with the disc drive built in and you knock a little bit off and you have a model without it, like you do with your standard PS5. Right. You have a slimline with nothing in it, and then you have the slimline version. Sorry, you have the digital version, which you can't put a disc drive onto. Then you have the slimline, which you take it's pretty much the same. It looks the same as the digital, but you can take the side off and bolt a disc drive on. And they're very sneaky, boys. The disc drive, what you have to at least, once you connect it to your PlayStation, at least once have an internet connection to go online to register it. They're trying to say it's to avoid copyright. Bullshit.
Yeah, true.
Absolutely at it. Now, you can't get the PS5 disc drive for love nor money. They're sold out, and they have been for a while. So we want to give gamers more choice. Your bloody disc drive is sold out, you muppets. So how about you include one in one of your SKUs of your console, and then there you go. There was a good picture there of everything there. So you got. I don't think the PS PS5 Portable was in there. I don't think that was in there, but you did say it was in there, and I couldn't see it. But you get the standard controller, you get the Edge controller, which is the premium edition. You get the cable that you saw a moment ago, which is just a USB-C cable, but it's got the old PlayStation 1 controller bit in the end just for cosmetics, which is cool. And it's the same kind of colouring. You've got a little controller stand for it as well. And then you've got the headphones with the case. Now, on the right is the special edition PS5 Pro. And on the left is the normal PlayStation 5 digital, right? I think they might have still been in stock. But who want a bloody peasant model when you could get this model?
How much is the difference?
For people that don't want to spend that kind of money, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I know. I just say that because I like teasing and I like being on the bleeding edge. So, I got
Now,
PS5
remember,
Pro. That's the most important thing.
We're going to get a lot of email now from the peasants.
That's it. So send your emails to peasantsrus at Extreme Gaming Podcast now. You do you. At the end of the day, everyone's got their what they prefer and what they want. I've got what I want, so that's the most important thing there. But yeah, so it will arrive November 7th, although the special edition doesn't come out to the 21st of November. If you've missed out on a pre-order today, I don't think they'll make any more of these. And I'll be honest, maybe I deserve not to get one of these because you know where I would have stuck this if I'd got one.
Not
up my backside. No,
yeah, I was just going to say that.
I would have put this in eBay.
Not for trying.
Well, actually, that's funny.
You would get 3 times your money back.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I?
Exactly.
I was just going to say, why didn't you just try to get 2 so you could sell one?
Because I couldn't get 1, never mind 2. I got the normal model, and there was still stock for a few hours afterwards, mate. So I thought, I only done that a little bit briefly with like a couple of Nintendo Switches when I was during COVID times when I was without a job, and I don't apologise for that. If you get a few £100 spare during COVID, then you've clearly got money, and that's why you're bidding for it. I mean, people are going to disagree with that. Some people will disagree with that. Some people will go, yeah, go for it. Right. So yeah, when I get the console, I'll be firing it up and having a play with it. So some geeky tech news, which I love. I know you boys do to an extent as well. I'm going to stop sharing my screen as well because I don't actually need to share it anymore.
Yeah, that's a good idea. There you go.
Unity 6, the engine made by Unity 6. Now, there was a scandal, was it last year, I think, where they tried to put their prices up. They were very much like Unreal. Like, they'd probably the top engine at the moment, game engine, where the Joe Blogs, or the peasant, air brackets, could use this engine and not have to pay for it. It's when you started selling so many copies or so much revenue was coming in. Basically, if you're a mid to high level dev stroke publisher, you'd be paying money to use the engine. But if you were an indie developer or someone like us playing about the engine, you would pay for it. They put the prices up at Unity, and it backfired, and they had to backtrack. So I don't know if this was in the works before, but certainly they probably tried to push this out to appease people. They brought out the latest version of their engine, which is Unity 6 engine. In fact, I probably should have continued sharing, to be fair, boys. The reason being is...
Just remember that the sharing is a little jumpy. It's
You've
not
got it.
horrible.
Yeah, I know. It's just one of these things. It's a bit annoying. I take the resolution down for it. This is the new engine here, which, to be fair, I'll just mute. It does look stunning. It really, really does look stunning. It's just it's a tech demo. That's what they call it in the industry.
I did see this actually. I watched this. Yeah, it did look pretty cool.
I'll speed it up a little bit there so we can actually see some stuff. It looks pretty cool. This won't do it justice if you are watching it. Go to the YouTubes and watch it. This is available like in a couple of weeks' time, 2-3 weeks' time. That's how close it is to coming out. And I think they reverted back to their old policy, to be fair, guys, because they were losing people. This is the engine used in my all-time favourite game, Rust, which I haven't played for like a year or something. It's very, very...
So do you think Rust will go photorealistic like this?
Well, they did try to go to the latest version about a year or so ago, and they had some problems with it. Not their fault, the engine's fault. Basically, they would have to scrap their game and rebuild it to the latest version, and they weren't willing to do that. So they ported aspects of the engine into the game. A bit like what Switch 2 is doing with the new NVIDIA chip. It's an older chip, but it's got some modern aspects from the 3 and 4000 series GPUs, like DLSS has been bolted onto it. Right. It's kind of the same thing in this respect here. I think they would do something similar. to overhaul a game, sometimes you can't overhaul a game completely, boys. Sometimes you're just screwed and you have to kind of, it's too old or whatever. And Rust is good. It's 10 years old or something.
I just like hearing about Unity 6 because all I ever hear about is Unreal.
Yeah, and you need competition. You need competition, boys. It's good for the industry. But this looks stunning. Like, if I compare this to Unreal 5 still wins for me, but there's not much in it. Like, I don't think they quite have the same level of tech as Unreal 5. But in terms of how beautiful it looks, absolutely
I want to know if Time Ghost is going to actually be a real game. I love that name.
No,
Time Ghost is cool.
No, it looked like some kind of World War II shooter mixed in with something more modern or something. It's weird. I don't think so, boys. This is they have a company that do tech demos for them, so probably not. So I think there was a day in it, October 17th. There we go, which is phenomenal. Can't wait for that. I do like. There's something about a game engine. Back in the olden days, you would literally have to code everything in like C++ or Python or whatever, and literally it was all coding for the simple games. But now the real work is the people that update or create new engines. That takes years, and that's when you're doing the coding. Most people, while they still have to do a little bit of coding today, they're doing what Jansen knows how to work Unreal Engine 5 to an extent, and he can do some stuff for us in the podcast in terms of shinies that uses Unreal Engine 5. So it's just basically a GUI where you can go and drag and drop things and put assets in, and you can
even see people when you go on YouTube. You can see a lot of fans out there making things with Unreal.
Yeah, of course you can.
It's amazing. I'm sitting there going, like, wow, man, it's like...
And you want to keep that, you want to encourage that, Gray, because if they do well, these indies then become bigger developers, and then they start paying more money to use the engine, and no one's complaining because they've made their money, and the engine developers are getting their money. So that's... I always encourage indie devs, like the Fallout guys, Fallout London, they're turning into an indie studio with the money they got from Patreon.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Love to hear it. So, we'll move on from that, boys, because I usually have quite a bit of news, so I don't like to waffle for too long on the one subject. We haven't even get the PS5 Pro out yet, and there's PS6 rumours. There was last week.
I read some of this too, and I'm sitting there going, come on, man. Talk about this later. I mean,
it's... they're always miles ahead. Like, they were always miles ahead of, like, we're talking about what the new Xbox would be like and the next Switch and whatnot. There's 2 PlayStation 6s in the works, and I'm not surprised because they've seen what Microsoft done, and they've got success with the Series S. Okay, their biggest seller might still be the Series X. I don't know, but they've got a lot of success with the S. So there's rumours that they've got 2 SoCs in the works. One of them will be more affordable, low, and probably
one will be
won't...
expensive and one will be more expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much hit the nail on the head, took the words out of my mouth. I don't think we'll see them to 2028, boys. 2027 the earliest, maybe 2028. Depends also on how well the PS5 Pro does and how the new Xbox does, because the new Xboxes, they won't do a mid
I have heard
cycle.
I have heard the PS7 is going to be quantum.
Yes, yes, and you have to bring your own salts. You have to bring your own salt and vinegar, quantum chips. So no, there was rumours. I mean, Xbox will skip this mid-cycle thing and they'll go straight for their next gen, which is supposed to be, they're working to bring out something a lot better. Probably the end of 2026. Maybe a handheld in there as well. Love to see that. Something like a Switch where you have the best of both worlds.
I don't know. To me, it's kind of like you have PlayStation on the right and you have a PC to the left, and they're slowly.
Joker in the middle.
Exactly. They're going to meet in the middle and all be the same. It's going that way.
Competition is good again. I said it before. This is another one. Keep the competition going. You need competition. I would literally sell one of 2 things. Guess what that may be. If and it ain't kidneys or lungs. For a new Sega console. If they can back into the market, or Atari, but especially Sega, of the old retro consoles, the Sega Mega Drive, or what my northern brethren would call the Genesis, but it's called Mega Drive like everywhere else, so I'm calling it Mega Drive. was my favorite console of all time.
If Sega comes back, then we got to hear that guy yell the logo.
Sega!
Well, that's the other one. That's the other one. That's even older.
No, that's the OG one. What's the other one? The one you done
the other one,
sounded
the guy
like someone was in a
goes,
rush.
Sega. He just comes on and says it really fast. Sega.
Did he? I've never heard that once in my life. I think you making that up.
See, we remember all this stuff. It's like amazing.
So
anyway,
2 new SKUs of PlayStation 6, hilarious. And the second to last thing I've got here at the moment, AMD, who are the kings of chips, different chips this time, not Grace chips, not British chips, but chips, silicon chips. These were you don't want to put salt in these chips, boys and girls. AMD
already did that. That's why it's rusting through the board. But go ahead.
I see what you done there. Yeah, well done. AMD were in the running, in the bidding for being the SoC of choice chip manufacturer for the Switch 2. I mean, that's I guess if you're a console maker, you tender, you go out to market, who can do me the best deal for what I want? And AMD obviously do PlayStation, they do Microsoft, or they do them, depends how you look at it. And the Switch 2 almost was AMD, which you would have thought would be a good shout because they're in a lot of portable Windows gaming machines at the moment, doing pretty well, you know. But it didn't go through due to handheld mode performances and efficiency. Basically, Nintendo went to them and went, we have got so many watts, we've got 5 watts to play with. Can you give us this amount of power, this performance in 5 watts? And they laughed and almost choked in their other chips. And they said, no, we can do you this, but we can do you maybe 15, maybe 10 at a push, but not 5. And Nintendo went bye-bye. And that's when which I'm surprised, because I thought AMD were the kings of that, but they then they went to NVIDIA again, who done on my chip, and it seems to be working, so stick to what you know. AMD could have been involved, you know. This last thing, Gray might be interested in. I did post it, and to be fair, I don't think he really cares. I'll get your opinion on this in a second, Gray, because Gray's got the Billy Big Balls edition. That's actually what it's officially called, by the way.
Meta Quest 3. It's still not here yet, but it's coming.
The Meta Quest 3, a big Billy Balls edition. So, no, they literally, yesterday I think it was, or the day before, announced the Meta Quest 3S, which, to be fair, was heavily rumoured for quite a long time. I'll just call it up there just now. And it's pretty much as it was leaked a good few months ago. Essentially what this is...
What are the differences?
That's what I want to tell you. It's a Quest 2, but on steroids.
So it's a mid-gap, like a mid-gap.
So what they've done is they've taken the hertz down from, was it 120 to 90? They've put the Fresnel lenses in that the Quest 2 had. The resolution's a bit lower.
Lens?
You have to do your research on the type of VR lenses, mate. There's
Isn't
a difference.
Fresnel?
So you have Pharrell, I think I pronounced that right, probably not. And you have Pancake lenses.
Isn't it Fresnel? No,
it's not Fresnel.
You sure?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just checking.
Definitely not Fresnel. I've never heard that word in my life. Basically, but what this has got is it is set up for the augmented reality where you can kind of blend the VR with the real life. It makes for some cool games. And it's got the latest chip inside it, the Snapdragon X2 or something it's called. So you'll get a little bit more battery life out of this compared to the Xbox. I've got consoles in the brain here compared to the Quest 3.
Keep up with this now. Come on.
And it's a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, but essentially it is the Quest 2 on steroids. Now, it's going to come out 15th of October. This is the cool thing here. It's a lot cheaper. So here's some prices here. It starts at £290, $300 with 128 gig of storage. There's also a 256 edition for £380, $400. When it comes out on October 15th. What they're doing, though, with the Quest 3, they lowered that in price. They're selling through the remainder of their 256 gig editions, and then they will only have a $500 version, which is 512 gig, which you might think's too much, but the VR games are mounting up in terms of size. So you kind of you will need it, especially if you have it for a few years. So you can see there, like there's the resolution between the two. The Quest 2, Quest 3S has got the same resolution as the Quest 2. It's a bit lower, whereas the Quest 3 is a bit higher. It's a bit better, a bit sharper. So, it depends on your budget. Like £200 or so dollars is quite a lot. So I thought, I'm going to go online and have a look at the Quest 3 because the prices should go down. But they haven't updated it as of last night because I went on and I could still see the 256 gig edition for the same price, £280, $500. And I went, no, not when you've told me that on the website. I'll wait. And I will probably get the Quest 3 again because FOMO, I want the Big Belly Balls edition. And then Gray and I can have a Beat Saber competition. We can have a beat off. Make that statement what you want.
Okay. Then we'll get Matt in there and then we'll really go crazy. We'll play one
just
stream in VR.
Like this. But the cool thing, this is what they do is they include a free game usually when they sell a new edition of a VR headset. And the Quest even at first, well, they have to because it's not as popular as consoles. When they brought out the Quest 3 first time, it was their Asgard game, which is supposed to be one of the most impressive there's dozens of hours in that. That was free. And then I had the Quest 3 initially, and then I wasn't playing it, so I got rid of it. But it's kind of useful for fitness and things, so I'd maybe get it again because the new Batman game comes bundled in with both models actually. I don't remember what the new Batman game was called. But
Shadow?
There you go, Arkham Shadow. Yeah, it'll be out at the same time. So I'm thinking this is pretty cool, boys. I'm looking forward to actually getting mine once it's the right price, and I might wait till Black Friday. Gray, what's going on with yours? Why the hell are they walking from the West Coast over with it?
No, this happens occasionally
Walking
with Amazon,
backwards.
but it was supposed to come to me. It was a third party, but Amazon took the responsibility of the sale as well as the shipping. So I knew it was going to happen because I could tell when nothing was coming. Then all of a sudden they delayed it for 3 or 4 more days, and I'm going like, it ain't coming. And then as soon as I even called them and I said, look, it doesn't look like it's coming. He says, well, make sure you call us if it doesn't arrive on that day. I said, okay. I said, but just be ready. So the day came. I didn't get it. I immediately call Amazon back up. And when I was talking to the first tier person, right? Mm-hmm. They're saying like, well, it's third party. So, I can't honor that price on a new one. I said, really? I said, supervisor. So the supervisor gets on, and I was nice, but I was firm, and I said, look, I buy hundreds of thousands of dollars from you guys over the years. I said, don't sit there and tell me you can't honor a sale price that you should be doing. They agreed, and I have to give them credit. They're very nice. They gave me a $500 Amazon gift card, to which then I was
$500.
$500, and then
you said you got the same one for the same price. Never said anything about $500.
No. My price is still $300. That's what it was not charged on my card.
I see.
But they said, look, if you want to get it faster, let's not refund your card. We'll give you a $500 gift card, and you turn around and buy it. I go, okay.
Yeah.
And so
do you know why? Because they can't give you the $300 because that was third party. That was a private seller.
I don't care as long as I get what I'm supposed to get. So they gave it to me within 2 hours, and I went online and I bought it for $500 essentially. But I didn't spend that, and it should be here in 2-3 days, I think.
Why do you not have?
I don't know.
What is going on?
I don't know whether they're in demand or whether they don't have enough in stock. But all I know is this time it's straight from Amazon. So see
if it comes from the West Coast. That should be a 2-day shipping. Am I right in saying? But if it's near you, it'll be same day or next day.
Generally speaking, it usually doesn't take that long. But for whatever, I don't even care anymore. I just want to get it. I'm just glad I got it for $300. So I'm very happy. By the way, before we get to you, Matt, one thing I wanted to say along the lines of tech, and I wanted to get your guys' opinions. Recently, I don't know if you read the article, but I read an article where Intel is no longer going to make GPUs. This is a report. This is a report that's supposed to be true. It's not like really a rumor. They're going to stop making GPUs altogether, so that would leave AMD and NVIDIA. Now, It doesn't really, though, because AMD no longer makes the high-end graphics cards anymore. They're already getting out of that one. So now the only one making high-end graphic cards is NVIDIA, which means there is no competition anymore. None.
I'm going to have to buy more Vaseline from Amazon because NVIDIA are...
It's awful. There's no competition. NVIDIA, again, gets to do whatever the hell they want, no matter how screwy their policies have been in the past. Like I said, NVIDIA is always a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
And not to have any competition is really sad. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I was just going, oh my gosh.
They do have a current, or not current, they have a model of GPU coming out very, very soon that they've been working on, which is higher level. Mm-hmm. But I think your point still stands that after that, they're probably pulling out. And I'm not surprised. When they brought out their ARC GPUs, they were, I'm being generous by saying average at the very, very best. They were average at best. We knew this would be the case. That's not their forte. You can't just jump into a complete different chip like that and then be as good as NVIDIA. They were good on the kind of lower to mid range, and they haven't brought out a high range one yet to compete. And even if they did, they wouldn't compete with NVIDIA. So it's kind of a shame. They should just stick to decent integrated graphics. Is probably the best shout. That was never going to be their thing, boys. And we're not surprised, are we? Like, the amount of doo-doo. Really. Like, do you know Intel and Ubisoft should go a night out in the piss and talk about how shit they are?
They probably
do. We can do to be better.
You know, at least Intel is always competing with AMD, et cetera, and that hasn't ended. But for the GPU market to be only commanded by NVIDIA, period. I mean, they have somewhere around 88% of the market.
No, the high end, great. It's the high end, but still,
I understand that. But there's a lot of people out there. Well, again, then you got to say, what do we mean by high end? You don't mean just a 4090.
No, you mean like a 4080, 4090 kind of level.
Yeah, or even down to a 4070 maybe. So that means at least 2 or 3 different versions of graphics card. They can just sit there and do whatever they want. You know, and
look at the top level one at the moment. It's got a massive premium. And in fact, I think they've even sold out or close to selling out in Europe, 4090s. The prices were going up, which means they'll probably announce new ones soon. But you're right, AMD can compete sometimes up to the equivalent level of a 4080. I have seen their top-end cards. Their top-end cards do compete with that, and they're often the same price or cheaper. But they've never come out with something to beat the 4090, the 3090, the Titans. And that's why NVIDIA just... I mean, Jansen... Literally Jansen, and not our Jansen, like Jansen of NVIDIA Jansen that wears the cool leather jacket, and he always does his GPU press conferences from a kitchen or his kitchen, like, and then he pulls out GPUs from his oven. I shit you not, he opens his oven and pulls out GPUs. That was the 3000 series, I think, for that, boys, wasn't it? Yeah. He opened his oven and he's went, look what I've just baked, and I was like, Jansen, mate, Jansen, what are you doing? So he literally just goes, did we say 1500? Make it 1900. Just, I need to pay for my fifth beach house somehow. So,
and you know what's the terrible thing about it though is it seems like no matter what price they put it at, people keep buying it anyway. I mean,
look at me, the PS5 Pro. 700. Why did I buy it? Because
and I agree with you. Some people aren't going to do what you do. I get it, but this is to a whole nother level. This is a lot of money, and there is no reason why that it should be that expensive. There really isn't. So you know they're the ones that commanded the market. They're the ones that set the price, you know, et cetera. And it's just to get it that expensive is ridiculous. Hey, look, people are keeping their gaming PCs, their older gaming PCs, a lot longer now.
Well,
so
look at my CPU. My CPU is an i9 9900K. That's about to become 6 years old come the start of next year. And I just said I live in the bleeding edge, don't I? But I think I've said this a couple of times before. I didn't upgrade just the chip, because normally I do upgrade as I go along, like the boys do. Like, I know Matt does that. But the problem is I had to replace almost every component there because there's a new generation of it in the motherboard and the kit, and I went, I'm not doing it.
I'd wait it out.
I will. I probably still will get an Intel chip. I won't, unless I will never rule out AMD, but Grace had problems with AMD. Hans has had problems with AMD. Matt, you may as well join the club. So I don't know if I want. And they do their last chip that was out was it the 5800 or the 5800 50 XT, or that one that's got the 3D cache in it? That was supposed to be better at game despite having lower clocks. So Hans tells us. I'll take his word for it. He is the CPU king.
I think I was lucky and bought it at the right times when I did it, because my previous computer that had the AMD was one of the best chips out at the time, and I never had any problems with it. But then when I went to go upgrade, all of a sudden I start hearing about the problems on the new AMD chips at that point. And then I'm like, oh, great. And so I but then I don't care because I flip-flop from AMD to Intel anyway. So I went with Intel this time on the new build.
He'll go with whoever's cheapest. You know what I'm saying, boys?
No. So I went with Intel, and then all of a sudden the news story comes out like a month or two later that they're rusting out, and I'm like going, come on. I mean, I can't win no matter what.
Yeah. Great. Do you know something? Yeah, the guys at Face Punch, who are the devs behind Rust the game, should probably speak to Intel and go, do you want to do a partnership?
Yeah,
called Rust, your chips are rusting. Come on, we can do this.
Yeah, that'd be a good sales thing right there. It's supposed to look like that.
Boys, the three of us will play Rust when we get back into it. Matt's got it. I've got it. I haven't played it for a year. I know Gray will enjoy it because it's not as competitive as, say, like Once Human or something else. Mm-hmm. We'll just wait till it goes in sale before we can get it for Gray, because it's still full price at the moment. I say full price. It's like a $40 game at the maximum, which is actually pretty reasonable.
That's not too bad for what it is.
And when it goes in price, it's 50% off, Gray. So,
cool.
But yeah, anyhow, who's up?
Matt's got a bunch of news.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Wow. You've been playing a lot of stuff, Matt.
I'm feeling a whole heart thing going for the GPUs there. Let's hope some individual person comes in and starts playing with GPUs and putting NVIDIA where they should be.
Yes, please.
Yeah, MetaQuest 3, 512 gigabyte for 469 at the moment. So they are going down. They're normal.
Oh, good. It just took me a while to catch up.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. So new game that's coming out, which is called Metro Awakening. This one is just VR only, which I think is going to be epic.
What, Epic's making it? What?
No, it's an epic game by Vertigo. If you know the franchise of Metro, where it's atmospheric exploration.
What was the last one called, Matt? I played that. What was the last one called?
20-something.
Was it Exodus? I want to say Exodus. That was brilliant.
I remember the first one, 2033. And,
that's the one. Yeah. Those are those I can remember. Those are coming out, and I've watched them played. I've played them myself. Love the storyline to them, and then just having an adventure. So this one's just for VR, coming out. So I can't really wait. It's going to be quite interesting.
You're going to buy it. You've got a VR headset, Matt. Yeah,
I do. Yeah. Which I might have to get another one now, just because.
Are you going to buy this? Are you going to buy Batman?
Well, depending, if I can get a good deal on the Quest 3, I might get Batman for free. That sounds good.
Who doesn't want the trailer on for it?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I watched this video before and it looked really, really good, actually, Matt. I was a fan of it.
Yeah. I wonder if it's going to be like, it's, well, the normal base game is $34.99. And if you want the Deluxe edition, which gives you the skins pretty much, $39.99. So not bad.
I mean, that's the high end of VR games, mate. I wouldn't want to pay much more than that because they're shorter. VR games are shorter.
They are, yeah, definitely. So it comes out on Steam. You can get it on PSVR as well as Quest 3 as well. So yeah,
I think the whole feeling and style of the game would really lend itself to VR. So
because it's atmospheric, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you might shit yourself a little bit.
I think so. Definitely. No, I might look probably quite a few times.
Wear adult nappies, diapers if you play this game because you may fill them quickly.
Get a mobile commode and just sit on it. You'd be fine. There you go. Extra longer player. So yeah, there you go. That's coming out in November.
Cool.
Yeah, looking good. So games that I have been playing because got rid of Ubisoft and there's nothing nice or interesting coming out as of yet.
Thanks, Matt. The only one left that plays games.
I know. Somebody's got to do it, you know. So I've been playing Uboat, which I probably mentioned before, anyways. But it's had its full release in August, and it's only £7.49. You can't go wrong.
How is it so cheap? It must be shit if it's that cheap. It must be.
It's a very tedious game because you have to go through the motions, you know.
Is it VR or what?
No, it's
it's sandbox, so you have to do a lot on your own.
Yeah. So it's the world's sandbox. It's a submarine World War II simulator. It's kind of like Silent Hunter games, pretty much, which is fantastic. So you take on a role as the captain. The only difference with this game is that you actually have crew management. You got research trees, which you have to upgrade your officers or get new officers and upgrade them to do the research. And you have to leave them in base to do that while you go off doing your shippy boaty sink. Merchants and all that stuff. Yeah. So you got to manage the crew, physical and mental health, so they can keep the submarine operational at best. It is quite interesting. I did get into a bit of a beef last night where I was surrounded by
seamen.
Destroyers. There was seamen everywhere. Couldn't move for the seamen. And they were here and there, flying everywhere.
There it is right there on the screen.
Yeah. So
that's what they say about a submarine, isn't it? It's long and hard and full of seamen.
Absolutely.
Yes, technically true. Everything I just said there is true.
So, so you have different views as well. You got third person, you have first person point of view, and you got the side view, which cuts in, as you see on there now, where you can look through your ship pretty much. And you can control every little bit of the crew as well. So if they get a little bit antsy or they want to do something, you have to actually go to them and sort them out and deal with issues. You can arrest them.
Put any of the guys that are mouthing off into the torpedo tubes and just shoot them out there.
You can do that with the dead bodies.
Then you're firing off seamen then, and that's that's not good.
Talk about firing blanks. Anyways.
That's true.
Yeah, so it's very in depth. So I got
I'm sure it is.
Overwhelmed by these destroyers, and so I had to take a stance and just lay low for quite a while.
Do you get bombed by the RAF quite a lot? I hope so.
Well, technically, we have what do they call those barrels? Depth charges. Yeah. So they go around depth charges and the cannons and shooting off, trying to get you. They'll ping you as well. So you have to be very careful of where you're going, what you're doing at the time.
How are the graphics? As I'm looking at this, and it looks okay.
It's good. Yeah, 4K, everything up and high. Looks fantastic. I mean, they could do with a bit more ocean life.
I tried to replay that video again, and I was clicking the replay button on the stream and not the bloody tab. I'll just call a taxi for myself. I'll call a taxi.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it also supports mods, which some people who have made the mods need to update them. Please update them because they're quite fun.
Keep Gray in a job.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fantastic game. Oh yeah, I came up. I got out of that issue, and I eventually met up with a few planes that were going overhead, and they were dropping bombs on me left, right, and center. And me being the captain, I was trying to shoot the planes down, but I ended up like that ship getting blown up, and the captain died.
Well, U-boats weren't designed to shoot planes that well.
So the XO's the new captain now, and
it looks cool, man. Listen, I know you. Sorry if you mentioned this before. You can play it with your pals, yeah?
There is a multiplayer part where you can do.
Gray, we need to buy this, mate. It's cheap. It's so cheap. It'll be like $10 for you. And it'll be £2 for me or something because
I just want to be in the torpedo room. I'm good.
Well, there is a VR simulator one.
Okay.
I was interested in, if I can remember.
I don't want to see semen in VR, mate. Come on.
You
That's
do.
too much.
You can
No.
fill your torpedo tank.
Okay.
Is there not a movie called U-Boat or U-Boat something? It was
U-57
Matthew McConaughey was in it or something?
Yeah.
That was fantastic, by the way.
I just watched that as well.
I almost felt sorry for the Nazis. Almost.
And
Tiny bit.
And Tora.
And then I realised...
Tora was an old movie. That was great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Have you not?
Oh, yeah, that was back in
Tora. I thought someone just had a speech impairment.
No. This was 1968. First.
Jesus.
Excellent
good
war
show.
movie. Really good.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Listen. I know we're small side tangent. I'm a bit of a geek. I'm fascinated by World War II stuff, not in a kind of sick way. Like, I like learning about interesting history, and I'm so grateful for the freedoms we have today. That's part of the reason I am
Yes, true.
I like every year when they have an armistice day and all that kind of stuff. So you're celebrating the armed forces. I will always give my minutes attention, buy a poppy and all that because that's the stuff I love.
You can dump the video now.
Yeah,
it's just finished there. So I'm going to buy that. I think that will be brilliant and fun to play. I think.
Yeah, and if
as long as you got the patience as well.
I'm into a lot of the World War II things too, because I always have been. But if you haven't seen those movies,
you lived during World War II.
No, not quite. But if you want to see some very good movies, still to this day, you should see Tora, and you should see Patton. 1968 Patton won all kinds of Academy Awards. I mean, the movie
is in the thing you file so no one steals your designs,
no. This is in George S.
Okay.
George S. Patton. So yeah, that movie was excellent in 1968.
Yeah,
won Best Picture, Best Actor, all this stuff.
Great, add it to the list, mate. Of to see what's the other one, Blazing Saddles as well.
Saddles, you gotta watch that. We have to watch that together, though. We have to all watch that together.
As long as I'll hold your hand if you bring the popcorn.
No problem. I won't be able to shove the popcorn from here to.
And Matt's going to be our third wheel.
I'll have the drinks. Cheers,
Rosa. Right, I'm going to buy U-Boat then. 180 Ukrainian, whatever it's called. What special promotion? 70% off.
Nice, even better.
Was it 70% off for you, Matt?
Yeah, I think so.
Was it?
Yeah,
translation. We didn't sell enough of them, so now
do you want to guess how much that is?
Like
it's going to cost me £3.26, boys, which is probably about $4.50.
Let's see how much it is now.
I'm buying it. Bought. Done. Moving on.
Yeah, 70% off. Yeah, 63% off if you get
the super
supporter bundle.
What's in that?
You get a supporter pack, don't you?
You get car manufacturer as well, apparently.
Yeah, you can have like game bundles as well as a supported DLC.
I've bought it, Matt. We'll play it together. We'll both. Yeah, no more semen jokes, I promise.
Yeah, we've had enough of those.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we have more game news, and now it's Trev's up again.
Hey! Enough of Trev, man. I'm sick of Trev now.
It's okay. We'll just comment right over you. Good.
Yeah.
This is the gaming news, not the hardware news now. So you can always start with the cool stuff, the hardware and the tech news, and then you say the game news.
Everything's cool.
Nah, that's
even our tangents are cool. We'll have to talk about French fries and chips.
Steam, made by Valve, has had a concurrent record of 38.3 million PC players online the other day at one time. 38.3 million.
At the same time, wow.
Mm-hmm. That is bloody impressive. I'm in awe. I'm in awe of how many. Listen, I don't like that Steam charged 30%. They're like Apple, they're like Google, stop it. I like the Epic thing where they charge 12%, and that's not greedy, that's a fair amount, and they still make a massive profit. 30% is too much. But do you want to know something? Steam have done it well. They're the OG. You get excellent customer service. You get excellent, reliable servers. How often do you hear Steam going down? Or a game not being available or something technical? Very, very rare. So this smashes all other records. And a part of that will be Black Myth Wukong, the Chinese contingent, playing it a lot, keeping the numbers up, no doubt. But I'm in awe of that, boys. That is very, very impressive. But But it's a very short piece of news. Like, I just wanted to share that. But this is the main piece of news here. And this is only a rumour. Some people are saying this isn't true. I don't know what to believe. The rumours were that the recently canned Sony game, Concord, that took 8 years to make, although they're saying it was less, 8 years to make, cost them $400 million to make, and that's not buying the studio as well. $400 million. Now, I'll give you some context to that.
That was a waste.
Spider-Man 2 cost $320 million, which is still stupid money. They overran with some of their budget, but that sold gangbusters, so like, fine. Like the Horizon games were like about $220 million. Still a shit ton of money, but the quality that goes into them, the amount of money that they get back, they make their money back from it. Now, Sony were going too nuts here with their live service games. They had like 9 in the pipeline. Ridiculous. And they bought Bungie, as we know. And they bought Bungie in and said, Bungie, could you go round our other live service games and tell us which are shit and which are not? And they went, okay, we're experts at this. Not. Although the last DLC for Destiny was pretty good. So they went to Naughty Dog, and they were already pretty deep into making the Last of Us online game. And they went, nah, that's shit. Turn it off quick. I know you've spent a lot of money, but can't put it in the bin just now to save you even more money. And then look at the problems Bungie get into. Can you imagine if Sony had actually listened to someone who's competent? They would have a live version of The Last of Us. Now, for those that remember back in the day, The Last of Us Part 1 had a bolt-on to the game called Factions, which was online, multiplayer. Really, really good. You were, I can't remember what they're called, you were like the good guys, like people like Joel and all that were, like all the people that were getting prosecuted and chased and murdered and killed. They were all up against the bad guys, the oppressors with the guns and all that. And it was really, really good. And they've came across and went, nah, we're canning you, we're putting you in the bin. And all that money's wasted. Now, $400 million, and that's not including what it cost to buy, is it Firesprite, the studio? That was even more money. And the game took up to 8 years to make. Now, take it with a pinch of salt. I'm getting conflicting information. But that blows my mind. Now, I know there's some talented people at that studio, but what they're going to do with this game now, like, it's an embarrassment for Sony. I think they should bring it out as a live, a free-to-play with Game Pass and all that kind of game. They should bring it out as that. But because it's such an embarrassment, the amount of money they've spent in it, they'd be too scared to do that because it might just bomb and dive.
It already did. You can't go much lower.
Yeah, well, no, you can. You can be, like, when you're on the deck and bleeding to death, someone could piss on you, Gray.
Yeah, okay.
It's possible. Do you know what I mean? Defecate on you. It's possible.
I think they wanted to be honest, I think they wanted to cut the bad press while they could, because it was all coming out and it was just steamrolling, and they just said, let's kill it now, and the bad press will die down. And a lot of it did. Until we found out about the 400 million. But that's just crazy. So they literally lost at least that much. Maybe they lost more.
Oh,
I don't even know.
Yeah, well, people are trying to say that it was actually less than 400 million. But even if you include the cost of the studio and the length of time it took, they still lost a lot of money regardless.
Look, even if you want to shave off 100 million, and that's probably way too much, it still would be 300 million would be ridiculous, for what it sold, which is nothing.
How does a game take 8 years to make? So what I didn't know until recently was...
Why did Skull and Bones take, 12 years to make?
That was canned. That was stopped and started, started.
But that
this wasn't
either.
This was always in play. It just took forever to make. I found this out recently that when is it Fire something, when they were bought, the devs behind Concord, they were bought by Sony. I thought this was a Sony studio for a long time. It wasn't. They bought them out. They bought them out a few years into the making of the game because one of their high hegians saw what they were doing already and went, we need to buy this studio. That looks brilliant. That guy clearly needs at least 10 pairs of spectacles on at the same time because he's blind. They he's just wasted a lot of Sony's money. I just can't get my head round. Because when you look at it,
they apparently believed the game director a lot, because the game director said that this was going to be, bleeding edge and the newest kind of thing, and nothing like you've seen before, and and yeah, that didn't happen.
Great. That's technically correct. 8 years ago. This is the problem. You see when you make games, right? Yeah. You kind of have to be a little bit like a Mystic Meg, who, if you're in the UK, you'll know who she is. Like, she's your fortune teller, bad one. You have to look into the future a little bit and have one foot in the future to see what's going to happen there, because games take years to make. We know that they cost a lot of money, so you need to adapt as you go along to change things. That's why there's delays part of the time, and also go right. What is going to be popular in a few years, and try your best. Mm-hmm. Back 8 years ago, hero shooters were popular, Gru. If they brought their game out even a few years ago, a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, you would have been fine. Because when you see Concord on screen, it doesn't look awful. Graphically, it looks good. It plays well. It's very much like your Overwatch type game. The problem is, no one can give a shit about it because there's been quite a few hero shooter games and we're fatigued. We have no connection with the characters, which is important in a hero shooter game. You've got to feel a connection.
And yet Valve does Deadlock, which we played.
Which was massively popular. I think part of that's still down to everyone
Valve.
Curious about Valve bringing out a new game. 100%, that's it.
I mean, we all had fun with it, but still,
I didn't.
You won. Well, you didn't, yeah.
You two did.
I did.
You two did, yeah. And that's the main thing. It's popular, no doubt. But yeah, so I found that interesting. 25,000 copies sold. If they're wise, they move on. They break up the studio and they keep some of their good talent and move on. And then we've got... Now, I loved this game back in the day. Absolutely adored it. Silent Hill 2 Remake. Now, I wondered why it was Silent Hill 2. I think that's arguably probably the best one in the franchise. That is Bloober Team that are making that. And we saw a trailer of it recently, and it looked pretty good. It was looking pretty shiny. It's out on it's the American date. Is that 8th of October? That's out really, really soon. But it's limited to PlayStation for the first year. I'm not surprised. It's a very Sony-friendly studio. Maybe Sony own them, actually. I'm not sure. So at least a year before anyone gets it on... I don't even think it'll be out on PC. I think it's PC and Xbox will have to wait, which is a damn shame. I might buy this if I can get it for a good price, because this is a bit like Resident Evil, for those that don't know. It's that kind of vibe of game. It's probably scarier than Resident Evil, actually. It is squeaky bum time, this game. But it looks really, really good. And you'll have to wait a while to play it in other formats. So if I do play it, I'll let you know.
I just want to see if my squeaky bum was doing anything in my chair.
You will maybe need some oil in that, some WD-40 grade, I think, possibly. So I think the last quick thing in me, which will tie on to Grey nicely, actually, was God of War Ragnarok, which just... it has come out on PC recently. Yeah. That has been absolutely review bombed on Steam. Now, this is the thing, right? The devs and publishers need to get their act together and learn. See if you mug off PC gaming players, you will regret it. We're not like console. Like, I like console and PC. I'm a PC player first and foremost, but I like consoles as well. You especially don't mug off the PC players, because they will come down on you like a ton of bricks. And on a platform like Steam, even though they've not played it, they will review bomb you. And it's purely simply down to the fact that Sony are insistent in bringing out this bloody PSN add-on. Now, there's an easy solution for this that some people won't like, but you don't need to sign up for it if you don't want, is bring out a launcher, and then PC players can't complain because they'll just not sign up for it in the first place and use it. Bring out a launcher, get it over and done with, and then you can tie in your trophies and all that stuff as well. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind. We can have cross-play maybe between that and your PlayStation. It could be cool. Because you're paying 30% of every game you sell, Sony, to Valve. So why not bring out your own launcher? So That'll tie on to Gray's thing for his mod in a second, there, his mod corner, but there is a way around that someone's found, which is really sneaky. I'll leave it to you, Mr. Gray, to tell the peoples, though.
Well, to roll into mine, and then almost back to what you were saying. When it came out. By the way, they're only review bombing in the sense of the requirement for signing up for PSN. On the game side of it, they're loving it. I just got the game, so I haven't really played enough of it to realize it, but I did go through some of the settings and put them all on Ultra, and it looks really good. It looks much better than the console version I played. But in any case, our modders out there do things really quickly, and when they heard that this was going to be a requirement, they immediately came up with a mod, and boom, no more requirement. So it's kind of like, yeah, you don't want to piss off the PC gamers, and that's what happens when you get the review bomb. But then you turn around and we just mod it right out, and it's like, no problem.
Yeah, and you can do that on a PC. You can't do that on a console.
No, you can't do it on a console.
I'm not saying it's easy in a PC, Gray. Like a Joe Blogs couldn't go in and do it, but if you know a little bit of way around a PC and File Explorer, it's not too difficult to put this into play.
But to roll back to what you were saying, now they've already apparently rescinded having to do that.
But how many times have they done this? 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah,
they won't take the hint.
The second or the third time. I can't remember exactly. But yeah,
Helldivers was the great example as well. Like, really, guys, come on.
That was the one where they originally got really mad. Oh, those people were rabid on that one when that happened. They're just like, wow.
The reason for that one is because they brought it out while the game had already been released for a few weeks, a month or two, I can't remember. Then they brought it out with an update. Whereas at least this time they're saying beforehand, listen, guys, this is the way it is. We're bringing this. You have to sign up for this before you buy the game.
Yeah.
Which is really shit, because see, if you're in a country that doesn't have PSN, which isn't every country, by the way, you're screwed. So I kind of doesn't make any sense to me, man. Bring out a launcher, Sony, and then some people will still bitch and moan, but at least you'll know then up front, okay, we know what we deal with. We either sign up or we don't sign up. So
they should make a launcher. They should have Christopher Judge do the voice of the launcher, and all of a sudden he goes, launch. Just like, boy, it'll be launch.
I do like what Chris Judge says, I'll give you that. 10 out of 10 for acting ability, that boy. It's a bit of a joke, that, Gray, but I mean, the fact that they've removed... Now, is that confirmed that they've officially removed that, Sony?
This is what I've been hearing. I've been reading that because I think they like to see if they can get away with it, which is really weird. And then all of a sudden they can't get away with it, and then they decide to rescind it. So,
but if this is the second or third time they're doing it, they're going to look like even bigger mugs. You bring out something, at least, what's the saying? Don't back down, double down. So now they're just looking like absolute schmucks and pussies because, pissing off the PC players instead of like growing a backbone. Whether I agree with that policy or not, they go, okay, right, yeah, we thought we'd try and piss you off again. It clearly worked, so let's remove it.
You know, to add on something, when you were mentioning about Steam and so forth, there was another article that came out and said that Ubisoft now has finally backed down completely and are going to start putting the games day one on Steam again, starting with Assassin's Creed Shadows. So,
really?
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know that, Ubisoft would put out stuff on Steam, but only about a year or 2 or 3 after it had already premiered on its own service or whatever. And then after they started releasing some of those a year later or whatever on Steam, now they said they decided to go and flat out day one on their own service as well as Steam, despite the fact that it costs them more to put it on Steam. And we know what that's all about. We know that the shareholders probably got to them and go like, hello, you're stupid. Valve has the whole market here, Steam. Just put the game on there, right? So we can get the sales to go up. So obviously, so they're just going like, oh yes, we're going to go back to Steam, because it's a great relationship we've had with Steam all this time. Okay. So we'll see. They're making the moves to try to save themselves, but so we'll see if that's all going to work. Either that or someone's going to come in and buy them. I don't know who, but bring Microsoft.
Yeah,
that would be interesting though. Now, if Microsoft bought Ubisoft, would it be Micro Ubisoft? I mean, I don't know.
Thankfully, that will never happen. The regulators will never allow it, Grace, so you won't have that dilemma anymore. of the
Or
softs.
or we'll have our next operating system be UB Windows. I can't help myself.
UB13.
There you go. Oh, man. All right. Anything else to chime in or not?
Nah.
No. All right. So we're going to go on to our famous. Well, we believe it's famous.
No, it's not the world famous. It's the second
It's
world
famous to us.
It's getting
That's true.
famous.
It's
That's
famous
true.
among the extreme gaming podcasts.
Well, we've not had any more Lord podcasts, so we may as well just take the title back. So why
Oh
not?
yeah, we took the title back a long time ago. In any case, here goes the gaming quiz once again. As soon as where am I? Oh, here it is. Just want to make sure I had the answers ready. All right. So question 1: you are outgunned and drastically outnumbered. That's a quote. You are outgunned and drastically outnumbered is heard in which famous shooter series? One more time. You are outgunned and drastically outnumbered is heard in which famous shooter series? Don't say it could be anything.
I was going to say that.
I'm not sure. I'm just going to take a guess.
That's
and
like
I'm
all
not
of my games.
I'm not confident of this answer, but I'm just going to guess anyway and say Doom. It's probably not Doom, but I'm just going to.
Yep,
If you said to me,
Halo.
what's the Duke Nukem? I'm all out of gum. I'm all out of gun. What's it? I'm all out of gum.
Yeah.
No, yeah, right. It's I can walk and chew. I can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time, and I'm all out of bubblegum or something like that. I forget.
I think we're both wrong, Greg.
Yeah, I think we're both wrong. Right, but we'll get it eventually.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, but I'm all out of gum.
There you go. That's it.
I don't know.
More or less.
I'm going to guess Doom, but it's a guess, mate. Matt?
Halo?
Man, you're good at this stuff. Halo is right.
What? He's cheating, man. There's no way.
No, man.
No way.
He's a combination of Matt's got the whatevers for it, and then he probably guesses really well too.
Never trust Irish, mate. Never trust Irish.
Well, you
They're
got me to
sneaky.
the answer because you said Doom, and I was like, no, I can't be Doom.
So you went for I've said one popular franchise, so you just went for the next
one. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, you jabby as well, man.
Yeah.
Logic. Yeah. All right, here's the next one. I even though I did the quiz, I would have known this question if somebody asked it to me. But in any case, the Nemesis system, which is a system that trains the followers in video games, is a mechanic in what open world action RPG series? So the Nemesis system is a mechanic in what open world action RPG series?
What was the thing that we were playing, Trev? Conan.
What's training followers, though? What does that mean?
I don't want to say too much because then you might guess it.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. I can't answer the question.
Silent. Yeah.
Is that the thing where
Matt was
NPCs? Is that when NPCs like follow you automatically, kind of thing?
Matt was kind of loosely there with Conan.
Not Borderlands. What's it called? Yeah, Conan or
It's not Conan, but you're kind of getting there. That's a clue.
What other games have I played like that? Shadow Mordor.
I don't know what the Nemesis system is, so I can't.
It's a hard question. I had to throw a hard one.
Lord of the Rings type game.
No? Maybe.
Is it possible to get a clue that doesn't give us the answer immediately?
Okay.
I mean, that's maybe defeating the purpose of a clue, but
there's a clue.
All right. Okay.
That's halfway there.
Is it Shadows of Mordor or something?
Got it.
I mean, that was once you said that, I know there's like 2 or 3 Lord of the Rings games out there. I thought
Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War, the sequel. The Nemesis system was actually very cool because I played both those games to death. And what it was as you went through and beat enemies, those enemies would then join your side. But if you lost, that enemy would become stronger.
Yeah.
And it was really cool how that worked, and it would be harder to defeat them.
Yeah, they would.
Did you play Lord of the Rings, boys?
Yes.
I played both Mordor and War. Yeah. Those games were great. Those are probably the first one. To me, that was the 2 best Lord of the Ring games that they ever came out.
Yeah, it's you can get that free on Twitch Games, I think. Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah, I would think it'd be cheap now.
I saw Hans play it quite a few times, like when he's run out of a game or something for a while. Every now and again, they go back to it. So it's kind of a popular game.
Yeah, he plays the different Lord of the Rings. I don't remember which, but I always remember Shadow of Mordor when it first came out years ago.
Yeah.
And that was the day that I had gotten my my first high-end car, the 1080.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember hooking up the card. I remember playing that game and just going like, wow, everything looked like so good. And that was back then, you know.
Is it better than the current TV show Rings of Power? Because it can't be much bloody worse.
Well, I would say the game's probably better.
I would rather play my Ring than watch that TV show, man. It's awful.
Put the ring on. All right. Third question is, Hello Games was embroiled in a major controversy over misleading marketing of what 2016 title?
All of them.
Hello Games was embroiled in a major controversy over misleading marketing of what 2016 title?
No Man's Sky. Matt and I both know that one.
Ding, 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 ding. You're both right.
That's our easy question. See, Gray's good at this. He gives us an easy question, he gives us a hard question, and he gives us a bloody hard, we're never going to get this, just for lols.
Trying to mix it up a little bit.
He literally does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, to be fair, Hello Games redeemed themselves. Matt did suggest we need to get back into that, and I would be tempted because I remember when that game was first coming out.
Yeah.
I remember saying to a couple of friends at the time, I can't wait for this to come out because the concept of it had never been done before, and it was amazing, and they promised multiplayer, and little did we know that they would let us down. But they have not charged for a single update at all since they brought the game out 8 years ago. Every single DLC has been free. They've overhauled it with elements from their new game into this game to make it graphically and mechanically better. And it's way better than it first once was. So I do forgive them. I can say that.
They're one of the rare examples of actually coming back and solving the issues and making it a great game. And there's a lot of people that like it. I played it about...
They could have charged, Gray. They could have charged for DLCs later on after they stabilized the game, but they didn't.
I played the game probably about 2 or 3 years after it came out. So they had already kind of pretty much fixed a lot. And I did enjoy the game. I didn't get a chance to play as much as I wanted. I played it for a handful of hours or whatever. Although I have heard that the newest version now is... I've heard good things, but I've also heard the fact that you kind of sort of start over, and some people weren't like real thrilled with that part of it. But I heard
what do you mean when you go back to play a DLC or something or what?
No Man's Sky they changed the newest one and the newest DLC. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but they changed a bunch of stuff in it, and you have to literally start over again.
Fresh, yeah.
And they were afraid they wanted to bring it out like that, even though they were taking a chance that people might not like that, but they did anyway. So apparently. I haven't heard too much negative on it, so I guess it's been doing okay.
You've got it, Grace, so that means all three of us have got it. So they have got better multiplayer in it. So that is one of the games we should investigate going back for gaming.
It's a lot better than Starfield.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah.
Did you hear that? I said it's a lot better than Starfield.
Yeah, well.
I haven't even touched that. Right?
You know what's weird? Starfield and Star Wars Outlaws are very similar in the respects that I was expecting a lot more out of Starfield, and I was expecting a lot more out of Outlaws, and I didn't get either.
Why did you expect a lot more from Starfield?
Because
it's Bethesda. Every Bethesda game comes out janky and broken. It's like it's their slogan.
It's this thing.
You know how a company has like mottos, like here are 5 principles. Bethesda's is if it's not janky, it's not Bethesda.
You must be. You should come out with a game called Jank It. And then that would be like
Janky Simulator.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta admit, I fell for the hype. It was cool and all this, and then I was thinking like,
because you're talking about Starfield.
Starfield, yeah. And believe me, I will say this much: like the game or not, their whole promotion of the game was excellent. Whoever did the promotional program deserves an award because they sold a lot of games at the beginning. And then as soon as everybody realized that the game wasn't that great, it was like, eh. But they made their money at the outset when they sold it, but that was smart, I guess, for them, not for us, maybe.
I thought you were talking about, for a moment, Gray, I thought you were talking about
No Man's Sky now.
Outlaws, and I thought, that's because you're an Ubisoft. Rumours are that it's you and you only that's keeping Ubisoft afloat.
Could be.
Yeah.
All I know
fanboy.
is that we're. I'm not saying every game is disappointing. I mean, look at Black Myth Wukong and a couple other games that have been coming out. So it's not like there's all bad games. But the thing that's weird is that the bigger houses that develop these games used to be so consistent with good stuff coming out, and now all of a sudden it's like they're all like suffering. I mean, when I first heard Ubisoft was going to do Outlaws, this was a couple of years ago, right? And that's when Ubisoft was steaming ahead on all the stuff that they were doing. So they were kicking on all cylinders and making plenty of money. So when I heard the announcement, I'm going like, ooh, this can be good. If they can do in Outlaws what they do in Assassin's Creed and etc., it's going to be a damn good game. And the thing comes out, and I think the reason why I think a lot of people were angry, and the stockholders especially, was the fact that it was nowhere near what we all imagined it to be. And that makes it even more disappointing, and that really kills sales even more. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, Matt played more of it than I did. He suffered through it. But the point is that I'm sure you agree, Matt. It's just like how many ways did it disappoint?
Way too many, and it just kept going more and more. They just put it onto Unity 6.
I don't get it. I really don't
either.
get it. It's a bad game.
And when I hear about announcements for new games or some new games coming, now I'm starting to question, like, well, who did it? And if I hear it was a big company, I'm going like, oh, so that won't be good either. Like, I don't know what to believe anymore. I think the only game I'm looking for, to be truthful, the only game that I know I get the quality from, and I know it's going to be good, is going to be id Software and Doom. Because every time id comes out with a Doom game, it's always freaking excellent. So that's the only game I probably might buy full price day one, because I want that game. But I don't.
Are you going to get the special?
Sorry?
Are you going to get the special?
Oh, no. I'm not doing that.
What's the special? What's it? What?
Special editions.
They don't...
You get. I forgot what they were giving away on this one. It's not the Doom helmet again.
No, that's for Doom Eternal. With a special edition I'm bringing out. That's not the new game.
Oh, right.
Are they not having a new one for that one?
That hasn't been announced yet.
No, but
prices and stuff.
Yeah, give it time. It's 2025.
Yeah.
They'll come up with something.
So last time we got a helmet. I would like a sword this time, or a shotgun. Oh, please give me a mini double barrel shotgun. I'll die and go to heaven.
That looks real, right? You get stopped on the street. Oh, no.
Oh, the way.
Yeah.
And you go like, "What's that?"
Don't
you recognize it? It's the Doomslayer shotgun. They go, "Right, off to jail."
Yeah. Here, they'll give you a cup of tea. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Can you just see Doomslayer in his whole outfit, and he has a cup of tea with his pinky up?
Yeah.
This is great.
And it's still so.
I can't wait for that game. The trailer was just so outrageous on that one. It was great.
When is it out again? It's out.
They didn't say
next year?
what day.
2025 though, yeah.
But I heard it was supposed to be first quarter, so that means no later than March.
It's when I first saw that trailer. Of course, I'm excited. The music and stuff comes on, and then I see him wearing like
the giant armor,
this like fleece cloak thing, and he has a shield, and I was like, Whoa, Doom guy with a shield. Is he turned into a pussy, man? What is going on? Doom guy don't have a shield. And then we saw the shield done, and I was like, oh, I am so sorry, Ed Gaming. That is nice.
And this is why, we may sound like real fanboys of ID, but id Software, we are. Because every time they come out with a game, what is it? First of all, it's great. Second of all, it's highly optimized. We've talked about before, there is no game out there that I can think of or that comes out as well optimized as Doom when they do it. Why can't everybody
at that level?
Yeah. Nobody can do that apparently. But that game is just like, God, it just runs, man. It just runs.
Is it a new story arc, or is it carrying on from?
Yeah, I guess they're trying to think of what angle should we go on. So now they're going.
I think we tied it up last time, didn't they? He killed the gods and whatnot.
Yeah, so I think that it's more of like a prequel / origin.
Oh yeah, it is a prequel. You're right. That's right. Yeah.
And this is apparently he was, like they say, he was there. He was different then, but not that much different. So it's kind of going backwards in time, somewhat, I guess. I mean. Obviously, the Doomslayer is practically eternal, or whatever. But yeah, I mean, the shield is absolutely great. I thought you too. When I saw the shield first, I'm going like, well, what is he going to do with it then? He's going to block stuff? Nah, he just goes. He has the uniform. He has the outfit on. Why does he need it? But man, when I saw the blades come out of that thing and he's throwing it and chopping things in half, and then
it's a boomerang. It comes back to him.
Yeah, and then he was smashing into some of them with like a full force with it. I'm going like, oh god.
Great. He's not eternal, despite the title of the last one. They just keep putting him back into deep sleep when they're finished with him. They don't need him anymore to save the day because a couple of times he's woken up from either a table where they're about to cut him open or a stasis tube or something. So they'll stick him back in the fridge, take him out when you're taking your chili out to defrost, bring out the Doom guy, and he'll save the day.
The one thing in that trailer that I still definitely thought was absolutely fabulous was when he got into that giant suit, looked like a giant armor.
Oh, the mech! I've been waiting for that for years.
Oh my god! I sitting there like he's already mech'd out anyway, kind of, or whatever, and he jumps into the suit that's twice the size that he is to fight that big giant whatever.
Yeah, I cannot. We call us fanboys, and we still don't know the names of most of these monsters. It's the big classic one that looks like the devil with the horns, because it's always huge, and now finally he's able to match up to it in terms of size and stature.
I mean, that's like, for me, that's like watching the monster movies with Godzilla duking it out or something. I mean, this is we're on a scale now, man. This is like,
or the what they called, what was the Pacific Rim?
Exactly.
Right,
exactly. Yeah, Pacific Rim.
What they call Gray, the robots from that?
Oh, geez. I know the monsters are kaijus, but I was trying to remember the name of the. I can't remember it now. Darn it!
That's going to annoy me.
I know,
man.
it's going to annoy me too.
But that was so cool because you were watching. Yeah. You were watching human beings literally make something that could be possible in like 100 years' time. Something huge with rockets to propel fists into monsters' faces, and I was like.
See, I really enjoyed the first movie, and then the second one I still really enjoyed it too. But I think some people aren't into it as much.
Yeah, but how do you beat the first one?
But then look at the people that have done the current MonsterVerse since 2014. I mean, that's a big hit now again. With all the monsters coming back, it's like a whole resurgence. So, but yeah, when I saw that jet powered, he had the rock on the back of the elbow, and he goes to punch the monster, and the rocket goes on, and then boom! I was like, okay,
Jaegers,
that's it. Jaegers, right.
And the music as well, man. Every time the music comes on, with the first times they're getting into their Jaegers, it just, you're like, yes, come on.
I thought the concept of the Jaegers were cool because you need two people to operate them.
Yeah, smart, because of the size of it makes sense that the brain can't handle it on its own. So left hemisphere for the left side, that makes total, and they have to be in. So this is a little bit of GGR here, I know that, and they have to be in sync with one another. That was genius. That.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I wish they would do another one, but I know they're
third
not
one.
Going to.
Round it off.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe one day.
You can't go wrong. Yeah.
Anyway, we digress on good stuff, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate everybody out there listening. Again, we know we're on most every Thursday, and we try to get on every Wednesday to do gaming. Join the Discord, discord.gg/extreme gaming podcast. So we will see you again next time. And all right, boys, everybody say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheerio.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. In my heart I have but one desire, and that one is